The constant gardeners are back to have a interesting social play here. One thing I'll remind you all of too is that um, we had established already from flavor and color from people painting the scene of this was you can't like well you could, but people don't mix shit up at the Green Mile, and that's where the person is. That's where you know they are. So remember that like physical altercations are like looked like unkindly upon, right? Because Roshi saw or Cross saw their rival at the market, and there was like some like I'm gonna get you one day kind of stuff, but nobody acted on it because we had established that like nobody fucks with people on the Green Mile. So that's part, I think, of this social situation that we're entering here. Also, we were in free play gathering information when that happened, kind of like from the entanglement, right? So if anybody does need to do downtime actions, I think it's still fair game to spend some jewels to do that. Otherwise, just bear in mind that there's always flashbacks too, so you can do the cool thing that you think of while you're at the Green Mile. Otherwise, we can just go straight to the meet if other people don't have stuff that they want to do. And we have Asher today as well playing Hicks, the Haunt. So we've just swapped out a Haunt. Do you think that you're part of the crew, or are you just like getting mixed up in the same situation today as the crew and kind of counting towards it at a like meta level, right? As players, we know that all the stuff that you do is going to count towards the crew advancement and stuff like that. But in the fiction, since you were a part of Matthias's playtest for a different group, do you think you just happen to be here and this stuff is unfolding and your goals tend to align just for today, or
I
you
think
actually
that sounds
joined?
interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah,
Don't worry, we'll convince you to join our crew.
Yeah, there's some cross pollination. You're just like visiting from your comment crew, and then you just like never go back.
It's like a haunt exchange. We exchange haunts every now and then you learn the different crew language, and then we decide that no, you're going to be part of our citizenship, and you're going to join our crew.
Yeah, when Darren comes back, we'll be like, we have a haunt. Yeah. Awkward.
I mean, I have a hack on my crew sheet. I could just switch out the names here or something. But in Hicks instead of Aishi.
Yeah.
That could go through, and then we have then we can say, well, it's on the playbook. That's the mechanical connection. And so that's how you earn the job now. Because you have connections to this person.
Yeah, who was the person again?
So I was thinking maybe Hicks knows. What was the name? Bo Soto.
Oh, okay.
Sure. From like buying seats from Bo Soto or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I just put Hicks in my crew sheet, my playbook, instead of the hacker that I've standing in there now as a contact.
Okay, clever, cool. Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Nice. Cool. So do people want to jump straight to this being the social connection plan being enacted? Or do people want to gather more information or any of the other stuff going on?
I would vote for just going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
And everybody is doing the social plan?
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. Well, we know the connection, right?
Yep.
It is the person. And you know where they are and what time and stuff, thanks to your contact, Jasmine, who looks suspiciously, at least in the first episode, like Cross until the actors got changed. Because we were using the same picture, funnily enough, for both Jasmine as well as Cross's character. So returning to the Green Mile, let's paint this scene again a little bit. Previously, if the I have the details correct in my head. It's literally like a Green Mile. They like spray this stuff on the ground, and once where it was like, you know, concrete and stone and stuff like that, there's like actual sort of fake grass that's green, you know, growing there. So it's a literal actual Green Mile. And what were some other details? Do you guys remember? Let's just do it again, I guess, because I of course I only remember my detail, right? That one, that was me. But yeah, I want to know what. Remember that this is like a sort of underground farmers market, also black market, a place where everybody congregates and goes to, and one of the tales that it was quite a big deal in the city was that the sun is always glints off of these solar panels in the cheap area of the green zone where you are now, the roots. And somehow, though, the glinting off of the solar panel, it never seems to hit the Green Mile. It's always like shaded and kind of like nice, which kind of puts everyone in the kind of mood that they must know some people like high up ish, right? Like it should be impossible that this street never gets hit with light on the weekend or whatever, right? So I want to know what cool like futuristic things we see in the Green Mile. Just like a chance to have some like cyberpunk and biopunk elements in there. And yeah, I think that'll be good. Does anyone can just pop in with some details, and we'll have like, you know, the typical camera tracking scene of y'all turning a corner or something, going into this Green Mile, and like tracking up to show all these like details that you'll be seeing.
Yeah, I think I had the detail when you walk through on the stalls there, like all these little glass mini vitrines where you actually see a seed that's barred up and lying there, right? In the background, you get like there's a little display that shows in time lapse how that seed grows into a plant.
Cool, that's awesome. Asher, you had something?
I like the wind-up girl idea where there are these like huge piles of fruits and vegetables that we've never seen before. You know, they've like gone extinct.
Right. Stuff that's extinct is coming back, which is totally the split peas is inspired from the wind up girl. So that's a thing. Cool. Mike Oriyoshi.
So we talked last time about there's some of these like cyberpunk hippies who bring their kids, and the kids kind of like run around like it's a place that they can kind of like play and that kind of thing. I think today when we walk in, as opposed to the kids kind of like scattered and like running around, there's somebody playing like music in the center of a big like plaza area, and has like this sort of like AR, like there's like this herd of buffalo just kind of like running around him, and the kids are kind of like, I don't know, like running like through this like herd of like miniature bison that are kind of projected around him. It's a weird scene.
So I got two ideas, and so I'm going to throw them both out there, and you're just going to have to deal with it. One of them is like, I imagine, just like a lot of farmers markets, there's a bunch of food stalls and things like that. But I think like what you end up seeing is a bunch of food stalls from like other communities and like the Forge and things that would not be normally what you would see in the rest of the city. So like you see a lot of variety of other foods and things, and it's all stuff that is not tracked. So like people can come here and like they can go get some weird skewer of something or some other pastry, and it's not like part of the tracked food from Nourish. And then I think the other like neat like cyberpunky type thing is I think at a bunch of the stalls you'll see like they'll have glasses that people like put on that basically provide like overlays of like all the like black market stuff, but like it's very like specific and tied to the area. So like as you're just walking by or other things, like you can't see what's there, but like they have these pair of glasses that are things that people like can pick up and just like put on, and they're like, oh right, this is all the stuff that I actually came here for. But like you don't necessarily just see it like walking by randomly.
Oh, cool. So like some people are so paranoid, or all of the people are so paranoid that the open wares is just like normal stuff, but then you put on the glasses and that's that good stuff.
Right. Like you can, and they're paranoid in the sense that like there are probably some things that they don't want to have on display. Like if there are people selling guns, they may not want to have that in the same area where there's kids chasing around buffalo, like AR buffalo. But like it might just be in the same area. It's just that you can't really see it.
Right. Cool. And just like in Farmer's Market, I just sent you guys a pin in there. It's I'm picturing like it's open air, right? Because it takes place in whatever mile that they have and stuff like that. But the vendors are quite high up. Like they enact these like prefab stuff, right? That are like double the size of the like a human normal's stature, basically. So it's quite high up, and it basically literally transforms the street is the goal of this thing, right? The green grass below, these bazaars, so it actually is supposed to feel like you're outside and not within the city. It is 50 years late to this market. What do you mean?
The Pinterest, the article says 20 places to visit in your 20s.
Oh, right. Okay. I was like, what? Cool. So I think it takes you, like, we get this tracking shot, we get all these sort of like montage moments of you seeing all these things, like these impossible fruits, the hippies, the bison, maybe even one like runs like through Yeji or something like that, right? Like their legs, and so the audience is like, ooh, CG, right? That's good. I love me some CG. And your contact though is met in a place called like the Pink, and I'll send you another Pinterest thing as I do. And basically he's got it set up so that at the end of this sort of hallway there's like an area that's been sort of spray painted over to be pink, but the walls are still that think of that spray paint stuff that makes the grass, except that it's just pink grass on the sides of the wall. So if you put your hand to it, there's like actual grass there. It's just, cool and pink. And so he's clearly orchestrated it so that he can see people coming, right? Like at the end of these arches in the wall that are very tiny, like enough for probably only one person to like get through at a time, is where they're going to be at. And y'all know, because you're underworld badasses, that you know that this is like a choke point, right? And they're clearly doing something to have get a leg up on anybody who might be coming. That being said, the split peas are your +3 friends, so you don't think Jasmine was like, go here to get lit up, right? But the person's just being overly cautious. And I think at the very end, sitting down, you actually see your contact, who, looks like the actor who's really annoying in The Social Network playing the Facebook guy, right? So he looks like youngish. He's got like a Warhol quality, right? With like the turtleneck, black wear, and like sort of a corduroy-ish looking jacket with big lapels on the side, and then like these big glasses that are mirrored, and I think in them, it's like still mirrored. You can see yourself in it, but it actually is showing some like black and white movie, like maybe Singing in the Rain or something is playing on it, but it's on a loop. It's like only 1 minute long for when that guy is actually singing in the rain and doing that thing where he kicks up off the lamppost, the famous part. It just keeps doing that over and over and over, right? And he's got that like douchebag look with the brown hair that's sort of like in a wave going forward. And you see them kind of looking like quite still. It's probably like an unnerving sight, even like if you're looking through these cascades of small pink hallway looking things, right, with a still figure in the back. And it's unnerving just because he looks like a douche. No, I'm just kidding. So what's the plan? Let's pull the table. What do people think the approach is?
So I think Yeji probably would kind of like hang back at the entrance of this choke point, just to kind of like make sure that like no one gets in, or if the situation is about to get dicey, that like, yeah, that she can let people know and kind of maybe just prevent anything from happening before it happens, if there were to be some type of like external or unexpected thing to happen here. She's basically useless in a social context here, so yeah, but that feels like where she's going to be comfortable. And yeah,
remember, you can always push yourself to get a die at anything, right? So
it's true.
What about whomever, the Steve? Looks like you have something to say.
Yeah, I like that. Like that Yeji takes on the part outside and makes sure we don't get interrupted. And I also had an idea how to support you in that with something. Yeah, so we might because we haven't rolled engagement yet, even, right? But the idea that I had and was to like we see that and we're still like really inconspicuous right now, just part of the crowd, right? And I think I would hand you something like a package, and maybe I need a flashback for this, but what I'm thinking of is this could be maybe specialized tech. What I want to do is that we around this pink building, that we get basically something that tells people they can't enter on there, in kind of also an AR kind of way, right? Right, like those police lines, but not necessarily like we're not looking for police here. It could also be under construction, or maybe something that actually says you're leaving the Green Mile. So people would be like, oh, if that's not under the Green Mile protection anymore, then it's not our business what's happening inside there. Like something like that. That once we're in, Yeji can then like secretly get set up, so that we can make sure we're not disturbed while we're inside whatever we need to do with this guy.
So
Okay.
I like the idea, since as Fraser pointed out, they spray like this quick growing grass everywhere, so it's literally green like where you're walking. Is that whether or not we get rid of that grass or whatever it is, like maybe we just hide it under an illusion or like disguise it, so that that area doesn't have that grass there, which signifies it's not part of the Green Mile anymore.
Yeah. So like, exactly, yes, something like that. But I would understand if this is a little bit beyond taking off specialized tech on the inventory, but I don't know.
No, that's what specialized tech is there for, I think. Like there's always acquiring an asset for stuff really out there, but I think a police line is whatever. Especially for the Steve, right? Like you could just probably whip this up anyway.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then if we need to put it to a test, we can still do the flashbacks surrounding that, right? If it needs some kind of tier,
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. So that's our in. That we basically walk in and Yeji takes care of the perimeter. Is that it? Or do you want me to stay outside as well? I'd be, as a player, I'd be fine either way.
Yeah, I mean, it might be the one thing I was thinking about is that Yeji's also kind of like ostracized from the group right now because of the loot thing. So I mean, there's an interesting question here of if you guys would just be like, yeah, Yeji, just do your thing, like not wanting to have any kind of like part of like whatever her nonsense is, or conversely, I think the other interesting question is like, would you want to keep a like second eye on Yeji, essentially worried that she's going to like upset the balance of what the mission is?
It's kind of a question for Cross, I feel.
I mean, for me, my opinion of Yeji is that she is professional. She's been in this business a long time, so she has a lot that she knows, and that I'm worried that Yeji is taking advantage of the fact that we might not know all of the details. And so like it's more that I'm afraid that you have information that you're not sharing with us and that you know something that we don't, and that's putting us in danger.
Right. Did before we go to engagement, do you guys want to have a scene of you talking in the market as you're making your way to the engagement? Because you were saying you wanted to maybe explore that a little bit with Yeji. I could see Cross kind of like sidling up to Yeji or something as you guys are.
I mean, I could see that.
This could also be where you meet Hicks, right? Or should we do that before? Maybe like a flashback.
Yeah, it could be a flashback,
like
unless you're already like set to meet here, because it sounds like this Steve is particularly your contact.
Yep. So maybe the Steve and I can go up together. Is that?
Yeah, like maybe you guys have like a specific meeting point at the Green Mile.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right? What do you think is coolest to you as a player, Asher?
Yeah, I think meeting here is really cool.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because this is kind of where we ended last time too.
Oh, okay. So then, okay, well, let's have the scene with Yeji and Cross, and then we'll do a cut over to Hicks and the Steve, and then we'll probably move to engagement role, take a break, and then enter into it. Sound good? Cool.
So like I sort of imagine us like walking down, and like at one point we see like one of the food vendors, and maybe it's like a yakitori, so like food like on a skewer type thing, that like we see, and like Cross recognizes it and like goes up and like gets one for her and one for Yeji to hand you. And I think it's probably something that's like from her Forge community outside, so maybe you know it and like you recognize it, maybe you don't, but I'm definitely thinking this is like it's a bunch of like scavenge like food and things. Like you don't necessarily always ask what the meat on this particular skewer is, because out in the Forge it's whatever you got, like that's what showed up on it. But like there's like a particular blend of spices and things that come on it, and so like I think I hand you one of them, and I just kind of like look at you, I'm like, what what do you know that I don't know? Because this, holding up the skewer, everything we do needs money to operate. Like we need to get money in order to get better and bigger and do the things that we need to do. As much as money seems to not be a great end just in its own, it's sort of necessary at the moment.
Yeji kind of nods. I don't know if I know anything, but it's a sense of this place. I know that there's what we want, which is the big load. Like, we don't want to walk away with scraps here. We don't walk away with just like a piece of this meat. We want the whole thing. We want the source of it. And what I worry about is that if we are fighting for the scraps, we're putting ourselves in a position where we can't find the source of the meat.
Yeah, I just nod and look at you, and I'm like, shake my head slightly, and I'm like, I don't know how you have survived this long, but for me, it's work. You got to put in a little bit every day, and you got to work at it and build up to it. And like, I think like I subconsciously like touch the scar across my face, and I'm like, sometimes things happen, and you just kind of got to push through it. As much as I would love a big score to take down all of these corps, that's a big ask. I think we need help on the way there.
But that's what we do. Every one of these little scores, these little missions that we go on are those little steps. We just need to make sure that we're not biting off more than we can chew at any one time. We need to be setting up the big thing.
I was like, I don't know what your big plan is, what you think that big thing is. For me, I just want the rest of the Forged safe. I think the best way to do that is to take down Nourish, to take down all these corps that are here, exploiting everybody else.
Cross, let's take down Nourish. Let's not cut at them. Let's not make paper cuts. Let's not take tiny slices. Let's hack the whole thing down.
That's what you want?
That's what I want.
I think I just nod and like take another bite, and then it's just like maybe like us walking down.
And then we cut to the Steve meeting Hicks. And Hicks, this is the first time that we're seeing you on camera too. So do you want to describe like what she looks like and what they wear and stuff like that?
I just had a bunch of like a big cloak, right, with like that's like luminescent a little, like Tronish, you know. And I just imagine that's where I keep like all these items, right? Like there's like a backpack or something and a cloak to have all this stuff, or that way I can have armor under it without being too conspicuous.
And where is the meat, you think?
I like the idea that they grow stuff for the self-contained buildings, to make like oxygen and stuff. So maybe we can meet there, and that way we can get like some pure oxygen too, like an oxygen bar kind of thing, to help like clear our minds, you know.
Cool. So it's like it'd be the equivalent of the cyberpunk you're going to meet at a noodle shop, except it's like the cli-fi version of it where you're getting like that good sweet air.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I like it.
And I think the Steve is like and like leaning forward to you and like didn't even put like the straps and the way you're supposed to do it on properly. So like oxygen is still like escaping before I think about, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to cover it with pressing it against my chest for now. And I'm like, all right, when we go in there, the idea is we pretend you're there to buy stuff off of them. Let's put them at ease before we put on the screws. How does it sound? And I'm like, the Steve is like this kind of person that has this kind of energy about him that tends to make other people nervous, right? Like everything was fine in him, and why are you being so erratic in this?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I look at you if you're like, yeah, is this good? This is good. Like, are you up for
Yeah,
it?
I think I'll like try to calm you down. Like I've done this a million times. I've had normal business engagements with them, so I can do that easy.
Good.
Should we prepare anything, or do we have a plan
And
after that?
And I'm like, then oh yeah, the display kind of comes up with like a mission clock timer. Like, and we reached a point where we suppose like Yeji and Cross should also like, no, it's time. We go now. Yes, we're ready.
All right.
Cool. So, who wants to roll engagement?
I can roll engagement.
Who wants the responsibility?
Sure.
So you start out with 1 for luck.
Yeah, it's on the crew sheet, right?
Yeah, it'll be roll engagement button on the crew sheet.
Cool.
So 1 for luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I don't think so. I feel like this is not particularly bold or daring.
Yeah, I think so far it's not, because it's just like going and talking to the guy. If you were trying to like take him out or like hurt him or anything like that, I think it would be a little bit bold, because on the Green Mile you don't do that, right? But yeah, is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? We go meet the guy. No. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Not sure if it's hitting them where they're weakest, but it might be a vulnerability in that you know exactly where they are and when, like, essentially, if Jasmine is correct, this is sort of that, right? Like, this is when they're susceptible to a meet and like where they'll be and everything like that. So I think you can get an extra die off that. Is the target strongest against this approach, or they have particular defenses or special preparations? Interesting question.
I mean, they did have special prep from the pink doorway to see and like the choke point.
Yeah, I think they've.
But that doesn't really like affect the way we're trying to engage.
Yeah, in terms of framing it as the social thing.
Right.
No. So keep it. And then any friends or contacts provide insight. Or...
Yeah, we got it directly from a contact from Jasmine.
Yeah. And then are they higher tier? Oh, yes. Because everybody is basically, right? So
then we drop back down to 2.
Yeah. And
cool.
Yeah, and no enemies or rivals, because hypothetically nobody should know this is happening. So
cool. 2 dice.
2 it up. Ooh. You're in a desperate situation. Get that sweet XP.
Woo!
So I think, yeah, we get the shot of like Yeji moving into like by the door, right? Who's all going in to meet this fella down the rows and rows of...
I think it's probably Hicks and Cross.
Hicks and Cross?
I think Yeji and the Steve are outside the perimeter, and I think it's Hicks and Cross going inside.
Yeah, especially after the Steve's last blowout a couple times, where everyone's like, how about calm down? All right. So
load. Let's not forget load.
Oh yeah, I always forget load. So yeah, mark your loads. Remember that heavy is like gonna be a little suspicious, I think, for the Green Mile. Like generally,
Yeah, heavy
not-
is decked out for war, right?
Yeah.
Normal is
so-
already a little
Yeah.
suspicious.
Normal is like you're packing heat going to a farmer's market, right? So it's like a little weird.
I'm
Yeah.
light.
I'm picking light as well, especially if I'm going to go in to talk to the person.
Right.
And I don't need weapons. I'll just punch people to death if I need to.
Right. That's pretty. What about
Like
Hicks?
light.
Roll
Cool.
tonight.
Everybody's light. Cool. Sounds good. So I think you we get like a surrealist probably tracking shot of you guys walking through these arches, and it becomes surreal, I think, because of the way that it's framed. It like seems like you're walking a lot longer than what the shot initially entailed. Like it seems like maybe it's only like 3 arches or something, but it's like a good long way. And again, that's an intentional thing, right? And so this person is sitting down, and when they see you coming from a distance, they stand up and they put their hands in sort of, not like a defensive thing, but it's like they put their hands like crossed in front of them, meaning like socially they're kind of like closed off from you, right? Like the body language is like, I don't like the looks of this. And when you get there, they say, Hicks, I know, but you I don't, friend. Should I call you a friend? And picture this all in that like douchey frat boy social network way, right?
I think I just sort of like shrug and throw my hands up a little bit. And I'm like, I'm just here. Hopefully we can be friends by the end of this. Just want to get some new product, see some seeds, talk about some things, what good friends do and business arrangements and things like that. That's what we all want, right?
Hicks knows that I only deal with people that I've done business with before. It's word of mouth, not bring your friends to work day, Hicks.
Well, word of mouth is I bring friends, right? That's what that means. How do you get new business partners otherwise?
Their like lips part as if they're about to smile, and instead they do the dick move of being like ha ha ha. Right. You can tell that they're like bristling, right?
Yeah. I like, look, my name's Cross. You I know from what we've met here. Otherwise I wouldn't know. So now we know each other. You're Soto, I'm Cross. Now we're friends.
I think he like is wearing combat boots looking stuff, right? And he like skids it across the pink looking grass, which is only as you were walking, it looks exactly like that picture, but in the actual room that you're in, it's sprayed on the ground, right? And it's again green grass but pink. And so it like does that thing like when Cross or when that little kid tripped or whatever, right? There was like a little bit of soil below it, and they keep like rubbing at it. And they're like, what is it that you'd like from me? I'm a hard person to find. And I expected, maybe we'll use the pretenses that Hicks was here to buy some more seeds or something like that, right? Are you here for the same seeds? You want some mangoes?
Well, I wouldn't turn mangoes down. They're not exactly the easiest thing to get right now, but no, that's not actually why we're here. We're here because we suspect some fellas, some people who might want to get extracted, and that's what I do. That's what my associates know how to do. And if we're on the same page, we can get those people out, we can get them safe, and that's really what I want. Like I said, I'm not going to turn down mangoes. I like mangoes just like everybody else does, but really what I do is extraction.
So mechanically, what we're looking at here is you already know it at like a player level. This is a desperate situation, right? And because of the higher tier, it's probably going to have limited effect. So mechanically, what you're going to want to be doing is getting yourself into a position to like set somebody up or do a group action where you have like a better chance of doing this thing, right? I might start a social clock on them that you might need to whittle down till they become like amenable. But I think at the talk of like extraction and not even like buying the seeds and stuff, they're definitely like that's what makes this situation desperate, right? Like they're ready to be like, oh fuck this, basically. So what do you think mechanically your guys' move is here? Is somebody wanting to set up the other one, or is there like and bear in mind that you always have flashbacks on the table as well, right? And then again, if people aren't good at this sort of thing, depending on where your action dots lie, group action would be good, right? Where you're doing like a two-pronged consorting attack type thing. Trying to look for those sixes. What do you guys think?
I'm fine. I like the idea of setting somebody else up so that we get another die on whatever it is. I don't really particularly care either way who sets the other person up, but I have an idea for a flashback that maybe gets me on better ground, that maybe helps tick down that clock of basically just like doing a flashback of maybe getting research of like what this person would want or what they need, and then acquiring an asset to give them as like a gift of like, especially since like we're not friends, like, hey, this is this thing that you want, now are we friends, like type of thing of like we haven't met before, but sort of like an offering type thing.
Right. And so yeah, like Matthias had put in the chat, mechanically, if you're looking for an extra D, you would be helping them. If you're wanting to improve your position from desperate to risky instead, then you'd be doing a setup, and then the person can take advantage of it by improving their position or getting more effect than limited and making it like standard effect.
I think what I want more is more what I think makes more sense is to get greater effect than limited.
Right. Okay, so it's a setup where it's like a peace offering, essentially, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, and how did you go about doing this in the past?
So I think maybe this is just talking with Jasmine, because I think this is before I've met Hicks, and saying like, look, we've never dealt with this person before. How do we get to like, how do we make sure he knows that we're on the level, that we're doing that we're working together here? So like, what can we give, what can we offer him? So getting that info from her, and then maybe acquiring at some point, even if it was just like during the stroll on the Green Mile as me and Yeji are walking together with our skewers, of like putting on glasses and like grabbing the thing, like the black market thing that they wanted, and seeing it and grabbing it and just like putting it into like my jacket or something to then pull out later.
Okay, I think an even cooler thing, and then you could touch on your background and your route, is that maybe you could get your hands on some moistware, which is not available in the city, only available to forge people. And moistware is like data that is only viable in a thing that is like submersed in a water solution, right? Until then, it just looks like an inert, like hard disk brick thing or whatever. So something like that would be cool.
Sweet.
And So that might be networking, and then you just like pick it up at the market, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm down.
if it's acquiring an asset, we could just acquire an asset and see what the tier is, though. And then the way that we would handle that is you would spend a jewel, and then you would just roll your tier on your crew sheet, and we would see how good the quality of it is, basically. And the better quality you get, that's what you improve your position by. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure. We can do that. That sounds
Okay.
good. So I'll spend the jewel from me. And then on the crew sheet, I'm rolling tier, right?
Yeah, tier. And we're just seeing it. Basically, you want to get, let me see.
And there's no bonus dice or anything. Can I push myself for a bonus die on this, or is this something where you can't do that?
No, you can put in more jewels later to increase the tier.
Got it. Cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And you're looking for 4 or 5 as your tier. So whatever your tier is. And then above that is tier +1, critical tier +2.
Okay. Well, we've only got one die, so let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Oof. So you get the thing, but it's subpar unless you pay more to increase it. And that to raise the result beyond, so you would spend a jewel to make it your tier, and 2 to make it +1. And then beyond critical is more, even more than that. It would be hella money.
Well, I literally have no more cash on hand. I've got stuff in stash, but that's it.
Well, you could take it out of the stash 2 for 1, or possibly spend the resources of the crew.
There is none in the crew.
Oh, okay. Well then, up to you.
Yeah.
You still have the thing. It's just subpar quality. It'd basically be 0 quality, right? If you guys are 1.
Yeah, it would be 0 quality. You know what? I'm going to spend 2 from my stash to make it at least just 1.
Okay, sounds good.
It would be really nice if I had more cash on hand.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the flashback is to that arrangement, and then during that scene with Yeji, we saw you like picking that up, right? From some
Perfect.
Ford shop or something like that, right? Cool. I like that for a setup. And you're giving
Yeah, so I like pull it out of my jacket or something and hand it over. You said it's like a hard brick type thing.
It can look whatever you want. I just mean that it's inert unless submerged in water, and that's why it's kind of like the police are like have no idea about this technology yet.
Right. Cool.
I think
Yeah.
it would be cool if it was a seed.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I pull out probably maybe an oversized seed. So almost, since we were talking about mango seeds, maybe something that's that size, mango. It's not a mango seed, but it's that size of a seed, and I pull it out.
Is it avocado?
Sure.
Are you a millennial?
Yeah. So I pull it out, and I'm sort of dexterous. So I think maybe I roll it between my fingers and then turn it palm up and offer it to him. And hey, look, this is kind of an offering. We want to be on the same side. We both know what this is, and this will hopefully get us a little ways there.
Cool. Yeah, I like that as a setup action. So the person who is taking advantage of this can choose +1 effect or improve position, your choice, Hicks. And then what are you doing with that setup?
So +1 effect is what we want.
Either effect or improve position. If you want, I mean, the upside of Desperate is that it gives you XP.
Mm-hmm. But right now we don't have any effect, right? Or limited?
Yeah, right now you're Desperate limited. So it's it's a long shot here.
Yeah, so I think I want to increase the effect first.
Okay, so it'd be Desperate standard effect.
Okay. Oh, and we're rolling?
Yeah. Well,
Consort then?
Are you saying something to
Okay.
him? What is the role? You tell me.
I think it's like leveraging our previous relationships, right? To try to get these people on board.
Yeah.
So,
So it's kind of like you know me, right?
yeah, you know me. You can
Also,
accept-
it's avocado.
peace offering.
Totally.
Will this be enough to get new clients?
Right. Okay. And so you can push yourself to get a great effect or an extra die as well. Or I wonder, are the people outside on the perimeter helping in any way that they could think of?
I think I might have something for the next step.
Okay.
So I think when we go outside, we just first probably need to have to, like, we want to isolate this building, right, or this place. I think that's going to be our task somewhat.
Right. Okay. So
And I can't assist because I just did the setup, right?
yeah, it would be weird.
I figured as much.
Yeah. So
I have a ripple to offer.
there you go. Yeah.
So last time Hicks went to the Green Mile to talk to a contact, that contact got messed up real bad. And that's a reputation that this guy might know about, for example, right? So even if you do make it, he might be referencing you getting all violent and intimidating with some other guy in a back room.
Right. Which
So that
is
might
kind
warn
of,
him where this might lead for him. So
yeah. Especially Cross, who looks pretty like I will fuck you up.
Right.
Oh, and Yoshi, I think just one stress for the flashback. It's pretty plausible. So yeah, you can choose to accept that or not, and then basically get a free die or effect.
I think I'll.
Or you can push yourself.
Well, the effect also works negative, right? Like if I roll badly, then it'll be a bad effect. That's.
I mean,
great.
the effect will be kind of like your reputation precedes you either way.
Right.
So it's bad, or it's a complication either way, I guess.
Yeah, and then like basically, you would, with greater effect, you're essentially getting more ticks on this clock in my head for convincing this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to standard effect.
Yeah, I think I want to have a better chance of being successful, though, so I'll take the extra die.
Okay, sure. So you're not going to push yourself? You'll take the ripple?
Can't you push yourself?
You can't do both. You can't do both. It would be accepting the ripple and taking the die, or pushing yourself and getting the die. It's one or the other.
I'll push myself to get the die.
Okay. Be sensible like that.
Is the push yourself a button? I'm trying to.
No, so you just mark 2 stress on your character sheet, and then when you roll, you'll put desperate, and if you're taking great effect, then you would put great effect and 0 dice, or you could do desperate standard and 1 extra bonus die.
Okay, so I'll do desperate standard +1.
Sounds good.
All right, ready to roll?
Yep. Oh, you
guys.
guys.
It's a good thing I took the bonus.
Yeah. The 1. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Mark XP, though. So you're in a desperate position already. So I think what happens is he starts like scoffing at the dirt. And I think he does like swipe the avocado seeds, right? Because he wants that shit for sure. But then he kind of like douchily, menacingly goes up to Cross, so they're like quite close, right? In your personal space.
How tall is he? Because I'm only like 5'3". Like I'm physically capable, but I'm not necessarily like stand over you imposing.
Right. Oh, sorry. I meant that they walked up to Hicks, not Cross. But I think he's like 5'6", 5'7", something like that. He's definitely not like towering or anything like that. That's for sure. Maybe he's a little bit taller because he's wearing his overcompensating combat boots, right? But yeah, he walks up and gets in the personal space of Hicks and says, I know that we've done business before, but you went too far this time. And he kind of like, he doesn't like shove you, but he kind of like shoves himself away from you and like goes like this. And like these two people kind of camouflage with guns like on either side of you. And he's like, you need to leave now. This business or meeting or arrangement is concluded. And should we take a break? 5 minutes? Come back at 45, okay? He's definitely like the most annoying. Well, not the most, but he's super good at being annoying. I don't know if he tries at it or whatever, but that's a pretty good touchstone there, Yoshi.
I mean, I've got the special ability conditioning. You can push yourself to do one of the following: perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman, or engage a small gang on equal footing in close combat.
Yep, that's true. Now that everyone's back to, I'll say the other consequence that happens too is Yeji and the Steve are probably like infrequently or maybe frequently making sure that everything's okay in the room, right? Like glancing through or have like the classic spoon or whatever, right? Like bouncing it off. Suddenly there's like a sort of, what would it, maybe it looks like a shimmer a little bit. And then when you look down the hallway, it just looks like more hallway, like Cross and the douche and Hicks are gone. It just looks like more and more hallway. And remember that as consequences, these can be resisted, perhaps. But it sounds like Cross is ready anyway. So,
I mean, I will totally like resist some of the consequences, but like I imagine it might be sort of like that scene is like if they show up, like I'm just ready for it, like and sort of like try to take them out before, like, even though they're camouflaged, like they come out and sort of like disarming them before like they really get the chance to set up and be in position type thing.
okay. So doesn't sound like you're resisting them
Okay,
actually showing up then, right?
um
The consequence is him being like that, and then they actually show up. So you'd have to resist.
so how do I resist him? Like, I don't mind resisting. I just don't know how I'm resisting him snapping his fingers. Unless like I catch his hand before that happens.
Yeah, or interject
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he's talking to Hicks or something like that, right?
Can I use like the hum to know that these people were here already?
The hum is if there's electronics nearby, right?
Right, but like maybe these people had electronics, like it's the cyberpunk future, or are these like cloaking things electronic?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Sure. Yeah, we'll say that you hear that then. Like maybe you, as what's his face steps to you, you hear the hum on either side of you, right? Like they probably weren't in the room before and they make their way in now, or you would have heard them before. And they kind of are like you hear the humming coming from either side of your ears as they're kind of like situating themselves. And it kind of points to the fact that he's like
So
getting into your face to make it so you don't realize what's happening, right?
right. So maybe it's just that I sense that the situation is tensing up, and like before he actually snaps his fingers, and I'm like, look, this isn't going exactly the way that I want it to go, that we want it to go. I don't think this is going the way that you want it to go. Like, let's just work together. We can make all of this stuff. We can both leave happy customers with something that you want, something that I want, and we can set up a business relationship so that in the future we can get better things. It doesn't have to come down to a situation that we both know we don't want.
Right. So, what do you think you're resisting with?
I mean, that sounds like resolve to me, but
Yeah, me too. So resist that, and you're resisting him being so pissed that he's calling these people out. But you still, like, mechanically, what I did was you lost the opportunity, right?
No bonus dice. So let's see.
Nice, not too bad.
Oh, I'll take a stress.
One stress for that is pretty good, I would say.
Yep.
And so what we get instead is when he walks away, he doesn't do the click, right? But I think behind him is like it's probably like an optical illusion-y looking thing where he steps onto some stairs that you never thought were like there because it's all spray painted with the stuff. And so he walks up like 3 steps that are not very big and then opens a door that again just look like the wall, right? And then we'll cut to outside. I think you guys hear something. There's sort of like a click, right? And then there's like the shimmer, and then they just sort of like disappear. And again, I think this would be perhaps a consequence that you could protect somebody else from or something like that.
So I don't want to resist it. I think the Steve is on the other side of the street, sitting like at a little tea shop there outside. So I don't even notice that this illusion thingy has happened because I'm watching something else. But maybe AG wants to resist this happening and wants to notice it.
I think you're getting tea from somebody with a blue hand too, right? AG, what are you up to?
Yeah, I could try and resist this. I'm not sure. So can you go over just kind of like the situation again for me? Like yeah.
So you guys have been keeping an eye on them talking, right? And it's maybe from this far away, it looks like not like it's going too good, right? The guy's like started hitting the dirt, and then you saw him approach Hicks, and then there was like a sort of shimmer and a click, and then that just like disappeared, and it just looks like a long ass hallway again. Really narrow arches, right?
So whatever that effect was might have me suspicious of something that's going on, essentially. Do you feel like that's okay? So could I? You'll have to explain the mechanics to me here. Like, it feels like I would do like a survey kind of thing, try and figure out what's going on, or is this like a more like
that's a
resistance?
It would be a direct resistance on your part.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not giving you too much to work with in order to color the resist with, but maybe
I have an idea because this could roll into the other thing, right?
Sure.
If I don't know what you wanted to do after whatever happens with this resist, but if you're still like trying to, if your job is still like putting on those things so we can isolate the building, then you're actually working with the building, and then you might actually notice that there's a illusion or something. Like you put your hand in and you see it flicker or whatever. That could be like a simple resist.
Yeah, if you're
as you
already
like start working on the like putting up the, I think I would call them stickers that will create.
Sure. Let's see. What you're a fuse, right? So what moves do you have as well?
The moves that I have are flaunt and vaunt, and all in the wrist.
And all in the wrist. Okay, sweet. So, yeah, I think if the plan was as this was happening that you're securing the building, then maybe what you notice then, like the shimmer is like if you've ever been to a fun house when they drop a mirror and it kind of like bends a little as it's like dropped, you know, because it's like really thin. That's what it looks like because it's a mirror. It's old school tech. And so it's just reflecting another mirror down a different hallway, so that it's got like this weird optical illusion action going on. So it's just a thing that slides down the arch. And that's why you heard the click, right?
So what are my narrative possibilities here? Like, that's the one thing that I'm not sure. Like, yeah.
You can accept the consequence as like, yes, it does come down, or you could be like, no, it doesn't come down because I do X.
Oh,
right?
okay. Like
I'm all up in the security business already, and I'm just like, nah, actually, right?
Yeah.
Because the resistance is automatically a win, so you just tell me how that doesn't happen.
Yeah, so yeah, let me resist it. So it just kind of, yeah, it doesn't happen. I think I'm probably placing a sticker right next to it, right next to where this happens, and like I hear that sort of like the click or the whatever is like triggering it, and just like it's like a yeah, just a reflex, like just like very quickly like pull out a sword and like stick it right where this thing is like falling, like right in the track of the of how it's like falling down.
So sounds like prowess probably is what you're resisting with.
Yeah,
it's like a physical thing, like it's finesse fast, right?
Right.
Or wrecking as well. So 3 of the 4 things. So you would just click prowess, and it will resist it for you.
Okay.
And then you just want a high number, so it doesn't cost anything, basically.
Right.
And you got it. So there you go.
Cool.
Costs nothing. So yeah, Yeji just like quickly does like, nope. So the ninjas haven't made themselves known yet, but you do hear the hum of them, right? And what's his face is about to walk out this door. I haven't made him do it just yet. And then what is the Steve doing?
So the Steve is sitting there, getting served tea by a blue hand. But I'm already kind of absent-minded, because I think I've pulled out like a small cord and stuck it into a little port that I have on the forehead thingy, and that goes to like there's a little pillar underneath the thing we're sitting at, and I've plugged it in, and I want to basically I'm acting as a lookout here in terms of I'm hooking myself into whatever the camera feeds are directly on this street, to see if like we've got threats approaching or if we're getting noticed, that kind of thing. So I basically want to gather information about what potential threats do we need to keep a lookout for, and I want to do this with hack.
Sounds good. That sounds. Are you doing this? I don't know. I'd say that it's risky because you're doing it quickly, right? You want the information right now to be acted upon.
Yeah, I think or it could be a situation where we kind of know there's definitely something coming, right? So I don't want to prevent that, and it could just be a fortune roll to know how aware we are of what is coming. Either way, but I'm also fine. Maybe there's extra security, and that's the risk, though. Like that could be the risky thing. Like you don't just hook yourself into the Green Mile when the Green Mile is there, because they've got, I don't know, their protocols for making sure there's no like other kind of spy stuff going on.
Yeah.
So that might be a risk.
Yeah, I think it's risky, and you'll get standard effect.
Okay. Do you have a ripple for me?
That's a good question.
I mean, if we want to bring back the coil in some way, we could say that the coil's watching him for, like, the coil is also interested in this person, and so maybe they see you like somebody else hacking in and watching it.
Or maybe the coil isn't necessarily interested in this person. The coil is interested in us. So they've started looking at us and they're here. And they don't have anything to do with the mission, but they're
Sure.
here.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Let's start a 4 o'clock for that. And I'll put the coil. And it's once it's full, then it'll be sort of like them hunting you down, right?
Yeah,
right now they're just getting like a whiff.
Yeah.
So it'll be 4 o'clock with 2 ticks. Is that fair? 2 ticks towards
sure.
it. And
I got a bonus die, and this is fine. I'm just going ahead. Don't need any other things.
okay.
That's a 5.
Okay.
So good information or something about what other trouble we have, like coming up or something like that.
Yeah.
Or if it's not right now, at least I'm hooked in and get that. Or I don't know what you were thinking.
Yeah. So basically, you just are like surveying it with like a hack, right? Like the area. So I think
like it's like I'm projecting the thing and I'm like flipping idly through all the camera feeds, and that's how I'm watching what's going on in the surrounding area.
Okay. I think
what I don't notice is right beside me, right? That stuff is kind of now out of my vision, right? I'm not paying attention to that.
Yeah, and I think you see on the camera feed Hicks is kind of like looking around a little bit when they hear about like the buzz, right? Like the hum coming. And you switch to infrared and you see those 2 like cloaked dudes, right? Or people, them. They're like on either side flanking. But then as you're like cycling through as well, you see like the standard patrol of the Green Mile people, right? Like the people that split peas hire for personality are coming this way. And I can't remember, had you guys already set it up so that it's like this area is off bounds and stuff like that, right?
No, that hasn't happened yet. Like we've got the stuff there. Keiji's doing that right now with the stickers. But I think that's what I'm saying over comms is like yeah, Keiji, we've got incoming, we need to hurry.
Yeah. So like, yeah, you just need to get that done before the guy comes. And he's just like, you can tell he's not with the split peas. He doesn't have that thing, the big mark on the back with the split O. So he's just hired, and you could tell that chances are good that if he saw with his own digital view that it was like, you're leaving the Green Mile, he would also be like, you know, bamboozled by that.
But they'd be trouble if they find us doing this kind of then yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And for both of you, right? Like it's not okay for either party to be doing this. It's okay to have a meet, but people with weapons in a back alley in the zone that's being tapered off is all very suspect, and generally you know that they're like quite forceful in dealing with these situations so that it doesn't happen again, which is again why we saw like the cross and rival thing being like, oh, we won't mess with each other even though we hate each other because we'll get like fucked up or whatever, right? Or part of it is even probably like a reputation thing, right? Where people are like, you're part of the underworld, but we have our own little rules at the Green Mile and you broke them, so you're not welcome anymore, yada yada yada, right?
Yeah. So what's the consequence though? I only got a 5, not a 6.
The consequence is that guy is approaching, and I'll make a clock for that as well. I think it'll be another 4 o'clock with 2 ticks, and I'll just name it guard.
I'm fine with that. Like I'm not going to resist that. Like if Keiji does the job, it'll be all good. I'll fine.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it's good that you did it too. So you knew that the guy is coming. At least you have the clock on there now.
Yep.
So it's helpful. So Yeji, are you quickly doing this action? Doing your stuff, your subterfuge? Sabotage?
Yes.
Let's see. So are you using subterfuge supplies to do this? Or specialized tech, we said too. Either one I think would be fine. This doesn't seem like very like crazy stuff. Some tape that's like, don't go here. And I guess like ripping up some of the pink stuff or something you guys were saying too, right? Something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's like, because we're kind of like, I think the thought was like a weed killer kind of thing, right? That to like kill off a bunch of this to make it look like this is like the actual end of it. So yeah, like that's probably some type of chemical treatment that we developed in the garden. Something like that.
I think we kind of like hit on that a little bit the last Green Mile, where they were like getting rid of some of the green stuff with some spray as well. It's like apothesis or something like that, I think is the chemical term for it or whatever. But basically it accelerates the aging of the cell, and it's like a synthetic compound, so it turns into that ash, right? Didn't we say something about that? And I don't know, maybe it was a different game. I'm running so many of them now. But basically you spray it on and it turns into like this ash grass stuff that just floats up into the air and then like dissipates, right? Going into the oxygen and stuff like that. So you're doing that and quickly like putting up the stickers and all that kind of action, right?
Yeah, and discreetly just kind of like making all of this happen.
Okay. And I think it's so what action do you think you're doing for this?
Yeah, finesse.
Finesse? Sure. I could also see it being ghosting. Like you're doing it quietly, quickly.
Yeah.
Growly. Whichever one you want to go with, though, I think would be fine. I would see in the fiction that would be finesse. I think the risk here is that the guard is coming, right? And we're just getting the shot of like interspersed with Yeji doing their thing and then the guard like walking, right?
I'll just roll prowl then.
Yeah, so risky standard, and then if anyone can think of an assist or if you want to push yourself or the standard stuff.
You're just trying to take out the guards?
Set up a thing so the guard doesn't come here at all, right? So even if you do get into this battle, chances are they won't even be coming by, right? It seems like they'll never turn down this alley, essentially, right?
Right. Okay.
We're kind of making sure that you don't get help from the officials.
But also if you mix it up with these people, that you don't get in hell from the officials either. So it's balanced, really. So is anybody helping, or you're pushing yourself or anything? Or
I feel like Yeji doesn't necessarily feel like she needs to push herself in this situation. This is like
her jam.
Like, yeah, she is not like the other things. The severity of the other things, the magnitude of the other things that are going on right now hasn't necessarily clicked with her because she's just kind of like working very quickly. So yeah, like she understands that things are like moving in ways that we don't necessarily want them to move, but I think she's pretty focused on like just getting it done and not like stressing about it.
I have a ripple for you then. If you're like cordoning off this alley, I think the coil member that got turned on to the Steve might also notice the alley sort of blink out of existence on the AR traveler's guide of the green thing and fill that clock up for them being like hunting you. And we start a new clock then, which is finding the lair or the base.
Or if you don't like that and Fraser likes my suggestion, I have another idea.
Sure, go ahead.
One harm coughing fit.
Oh yeah. Both of
Yeah, I
us
like
are-
that. You know what I like.
I like to
It's gonna
cough
give you
up
less
some gross
effect
stuff.
potentially if you need to do something physical or where you need to.
But I think
Yeah.
like that's like a really cool piece of drama here that like ties into her.
So it's like, I like it too because Yeji is like not pushing herself because she's like, I've got this, but then suddenly the cough, like the fits come, right? Like
Maybe the chemicals act as an irritant to
yeah.
your disease as well, or something like that, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And alternatively, the coil will find you, which is cool as well. So choose what you like.
I think both are beautiful suggestions. We have a wonderful GM, but I'm going to go with the coughing fit.
Fine, take your one harm.
And this is all desperate, right?
Yep. Or no, it was just risky.
Okay.
Risky standard, yeah. But your complication will be definitely filling up the guard clocks. So son of a nutcracker. Cool. So just tell me, you can, give me the whole scene with the guy coming, but not like the guard is coming, but is not, you do it in time, right? Like the guard is not going to come down this particular alley, and you can give me the whole scene if you like.
Yeah, I am like I'm flipping all of these things up, like I'm spray, like I really quickly then like I'm kind of like dashing, maybe I'm kind of just dashing down like kind of like jet set radio, like just kind of like spraying this substance along the surface. And as I kind of like turn back, like that sort of like cloud of fume just like hits me, and like I just start like hacking up that like that, like orange cottage cheese kind of like stuff. And I think maybe I'm like backing off of the pink area then, and I'm headed towards the guard, and I'm just like hacking up this stuff and like grabbing like one of my scarves and like doing that. And I think maybe if it makes sense, like that guard like sees that and just like wants no part of that. So maybe it helps kind of turn them away as well. That they're seeing this like old woman like just like hacking up what is like clearly a strange disease.
Oh yeah, so it even helps you. Yeah, they're like, yeah, they're even more like prejudiced towards you, so that like that even adds to it. They're like, not part of my jurisdiction, and I don't have to deal with some old lady puking up orange shit, right?
especially as we're light, like right, we look inconspicuous here too. That's really cool, I think.
Yeah, totally. I like it. So I guess I'll delete the guard clock. You've dealt with it. And so let's cut back into that room. Hicks, you haven't gone in a while. And feel free as players, Yoshi and Hicks, to coordinate your efforts here in the room. Oh, you just write it in the bottom left harm box and just type whatever you want, like coughing fit or whatever you like, Mike. So yeah. Asher, do you have an idea of what Hicks would do? He's about to leave, and you hear the hum of these people, right, flanking you.
Okay, those aren't the same guards.
What do you mean?
You said you just deleted a guard clock, so that's not these guards.
No, not these ones. The guard clock that I deleted was the ones that were like the legit police officials coming to to see you guys, but instead you managed to cordon off the area just in time.
Okay.
Yeah, these ones are just purely for Bo, right? Like the bodyguards, and they're not uncloaked yet, but they're there and tense, and I'm not... It'll depend what they do, depending on if you let Bo leave or not, right? Like if you decide to lose this opportunity or not, essentially.
Yeah. I was thinking of unmasking them as like a power move, but that'll make him leave even more, I think. You know, so like we want to keep it down. So I think I'll just like raise my hands, like we don't want violence here. We're just trying to make a deal. So can we get our seeds, or he's just gonna walk away on us?
Yeah, like he's leaving, and essentially as the desperate roll failed, I've kind of done a like you need to try a different way. Essentially, like the consorting networking way is like X'd off in the metafiction for you to be able to get this guy. So it might be time for your hands-on approach or something like that. Or if you can think of another way to entice him back in the room, that is an option as well. But the like you haven't, yeah, like the nice way essentially is like not working.
Okay, then my other idea was bringing back like knit punk, like pulling out a scarf and using it to like blindfold the guards.
So since you know where they are because of the hum, you're just gonna like put the scarf over their wherever their head would be.
Yeah.
Okay. And what action do you think that would be?
That's a good question.
And also, is this a Yoshi? Is this going to be a group effort to take on the guards, or are you helping in some way, etc.?
Sure, I will totally help with taking out guards. That is actually what I'm good at. So
yeah. Well, to be clear though, if you want to try to hit your special ability,
yeah, it's probably me doing the action, not Hicks.
Yeah, and Hicks is probably helping you, right?
Right.
Yeah, maybe I'll hand you these scarves, and then you can deal with
well,
them.
No, you can still cover the face with the...
Okay, and then you'll deal with the guards, I see.
Yeah, then mechanically, you'll be giving the bonus to Cross's maneuver.
Okay,
because it makes sense, right? Like you're blinding the guy, and then Cross is like able to do whatever, right?
Yep.
So you both get what you want, potentially, depending on the roll.
Yeah.
And that would be a good setup or a assist, depending on what you guys think. But if it's a setup, then you'll need to roll. If it's an assist, free dice.
Yeah. Which do you want to do? I'm happy with it either being a setup or an assist. Do you want to roll one of roll something like finesse or prowl or...
Yeah, I can roll finesse.
Yeah, sure. And the finesse will... Yeah, so you're just trying to completely blind this person because you know where they are. And then I'm sure that both guards would be surprised, right? Because they're like, we are invisible, though.
Right. And that would also show them where they are.
Right. So I think it will be a risky situation because you're going up some guards with some guns, but you do have the upper hand because they don't know that you know, right? So risky, standard effect, and then the usual stuff applies. And as usual, if you want to make it a desperate situation, let me know. But the desperate situation will definitely be like you get got, right?
Just remember, you can also resist those consequences.
Yeah, it's fine, really. We have established in the sort of like grittiness of this game, though, that it would drop your harm level by 1, and then you can do the armor. So it's not like you'd be able to resist it and resist all harm. So I don't want to give you that preconception, but you know, you won't die if you resist it for sure.
That's good.
Yeah. But it will hurt like a lot.
Would that help get him back? If there's all this, that would just probably push him away. So
yeah, it sounds like to me is the way that you want to get the guy back is by taking these guys out and then just going after him or something.
Yeah,
like
so I think I want to keep it more quiet.
Okay, sure.
I'll just do normal roll.
Oh no. Okay, so it's a good thing you didn't go desperate then. So you don't do the desperate effect, and in a risky situation, things go badly. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you end up in a desperate position. You lose this opportunity. So I think what happens is two things. Yes. So two things happen. You go to cover them, right, with the scarf action, and instead you get like a boot in the solar plex, like sending you back and taking the breath out of you. So you take 2 harm, and it'd be like broken rib, something like that. And the second consequence of that is that it like hits Cross as well, and Cross you'll take 1 harm just from going sprawling from you guys getting tangled up.
I am totally resisting that harm.
Okay.
I'm gonna risk it, like even if like as Hicks is coming towards me, like I think it's gonna be sort of like just being able to like step out, and I think it's gonna lead into my action of basically pushing myself to take out these guys. But it's like using, and actually let me find out first. Hicks, are you gonna resist this roll? Like, are you gonna take the harm? Because it's gonna tell how I resist.
I'm okay with taking it.
Okay, so perfect. Then I think what I'm going to do is basically, as like Hicks gets kicked towards me, I'm just going to use that as sort of like cover that obscures my movement to resist, and then lead into basically taking them out, like taking out the other guard who didn't kick Hicks, and then throwing that person into the first guard type thing.
Well, okay, well that will lead into your action.
Right.
Yeah.
But the first part is resisting by just like dodging out of Hicks coming towards me,
Cool.
and kind of like using that as cover. And so that's prowess to me.
Yes, I would agree. I don't know. Sounds like you're being pretty thinky about this. Oh my god, a crit. So you clear a stress. This is a good time for you.
Yeah, this is what I do.
Yeah, and how you don't get a trauma.
This is also a problem, but whatever.
Sub rolling so good. Okay, so yeah. You clear a stress, and this is clearly a easy thing. So like, is it like bullet time? Like, what do we see?
Yeah, I think that it's something like that. Is like maybe if it's the camera perspective of like Hicks getting kicked, it shifts to the attacker, like the invisible camo guard, as like the boot comes up and kicks Hicks, and like expects to see Cross also get hit, like as Hicks comes toward it. But like you just see like Cross like sort of like be there slightly, and then as like you expect to see Cross's body like fall out as Hicks like runs into it, like Cross is just not there, like has like moved very quickly to like where the other guard is. And then I think I'm definitely going to use my conditioning to push myself so I can do like some superhuman stuff and basically try to like take out that other guard, and then like take out and like throw them into the first guard to like sort of take them out at the same time type thing.
Okay, so if you're trying to take them out in one foul swoop, I would say that's desperate with limited effect, but with your push, you could put it to standard if you like.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. And if you want to do risky, you could be harming them, but not taking them out immediately.
Nah, I want to take them out. I'll take the desperate action and take them out.
Okay.
And then, so that sounds like skirmish to me. Can I push myself on top of like the push for the conditioning for an extra die?
No, you've already done that.
Cool.
Yeah, right. So you get the benefit of both.
Sweet. Awesome. That's what that means. Perfect. Yeah. So that means I will roll skirmish.
Yeah.
It is desperate.
Get them real good. And get that XP.
With 1 die. And I
got
a 4.
Yes. So you do take them out, but I think the equivalent of this will be like the trading of harm, right? Like, let's say that you take, it's a desperate. So you'll take 3 harm, and I think it'll be in the back and forth between these things, right? So I want you to narrate the fight, but narrate that you are getting a couple.
I would take 3 harm, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to put that onto the other guard that I'm using as a shield, who's taking the harm for me as I'm fighting this threat.
Oh, poor guy or girl, poor androgynous armor person.
So I am totally resisting that with prowess.
Yeah. Sounds good. Oh, 3.
3, I'll take 3.
Okay, so that'll drop it to 2, and then are you using armor as well?
Yeah, I'll use an armor.
Okay, and armor is 2 slots, right?
Yeah.
And so then it marks it down to 1.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I have 1
stormtroopers,
harm.
exactly. Cool. And then just tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, so if they've got guns or something, I think I'm moving too fast for them to get like a bead, and there's other guys on them. But I think they probably just like hit me with the butt of the gun, or like use it like a club, less like a gun type thing, and that's part of like what drops it down. And so yeah, I think maybe the harm is just getting like gut punched with the gun or something like that. And so that's my level 1 harm. But like definitely taking them out, and then like at the end of it, just sort of like standing over their bodies at the bottom, because I took them out. And I'm like, you really shouldn't have done that. And I like turn back to see like because what's his name, Bo Soto, has he left the room yet? Like, or is this like all happening so fast that he's just like watching this thing happen?
I think like as you look up, the door is like closing.
Yeah, and so I just like shake my head. I'm like, all right, after him, and then like just
Well,
like
that'll be another consequence as part of the desperate. So it could be a separate thing that you could resist if you like.
I will totally try to resist that and just try to get to the door before he gets out of here.
Right. Okay. So he's not gone because you're that fast again.
Yep.
Do you use Hicks's body as like a platform? Are you shitting me? What the hell? So you critted and you gained a clear stress.
Yep.
Why?
I'll help you get your trauma. I have an idea what to do.
And then,
So I think you're. I like the idea of using Hicks's body, and so like it's the guards go down, and like Hicks is like maybe just standing up, and I just like vault over Hicks to get into the position before the door. I'm like, no, Mr. Soto, we're not done yet.
Oh shit. Okay. And Hicks, you can always mark your armor as well, just like Cross did to bump that 2 harm down to 1 if you want. You said you were accepting it, but you can still use armor, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's just light loads. I don't know if I want to keep that for later.
Yeah, you'd only have 1 box left after that. It's up to you. What kind of
just
gear?
use it.
Yeah, because your shifter or your cleaner crew, you have rigging, right? So you have 2 free load of weapon or gear as well. So that's pretty good.
Oh, the team bonus?
The team one, yeah, the team bonus. Yeah, so if you want to have weapons still, it's free.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. And so outside, Steve, you see all this stuff happening on the camera feed, right? Yeji's done. Well, maybe like coughing at the corner still, perhaps.
Oh no, like I've got something better to do. My attention is on different feeds.
Okay.
I know they're the coil is around, and I'm gonna go and get ahead of them. Like I basically do the equivalent of saying, yeah, pin me down here, come at me, bro, right? Via the digital feed. Like I actually ping them. So I want to push the clock to its fullest, but what I want to do is basically set them up so when they come here, I've got the upper hand on them.
Okay.
Because I don't know what they're bringing yet. I can't really tell you yet what I want to do with them, but like I want to get them mixed up in whatever is going down.
Okay. But the first part is of the pinging them, right? Like being like, I'm here.
Them luring them into the trap, and I don't yet know what I'm luring into the trap, other than it's people from the coil.
Okay. Well, I think it's risky to do that because they're hackers. That's their thing, right? So maybe they'll try to harm you with that. Just be like, come at me, bro, and they'll be like, send you some ice or whatever, right? Being like, I'm gonna fry you.
Or they totally sniff out that I'm trying to lure them in and stuff. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
risky.
It looks too fake, right? Something
Yeah.
like that. So risky standard. And
doing-
I'm assuming you're hacking again? Or
Yeah, I think so, because this is a pinging action. And yeah, I make it more look like, oh, there's someone, like I'm accidentally like doing sending a request to them, right? Which is way too obvious. Like that way, and maybe I'm sending like a couple of other ones somewhere else that is like non.
right. It's
not
like
really-
it's like a fake thing where they can totally see through what you're doing, and that's where you want them to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So yeah, the risky stuff makes sense.
And either way,
Yeah.
the clock will be full, right? Because they'll be like coming at you, but the consequence, I think, is clear, right? They're gonna try to like zap your brain or whatever too.
Yeah, there could be, yes, exactly, right. Something like that.
Give you a little
Um,
twitch.
Yeah, I think it's cool to keep it risky. Is there a ripple one can think of?
I could think of one. You think?
I also ping like someone else who I shouldn't have.
No, I think that there's more coil here than you thought. Right? Like I think right now there's one dude, like a hacker guy or whatever, right? And instead I think it'll be like the rest of the coil are here.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. So instead of one, I think it'll be like 3 or 4 to make it explicit to you guys.
Yeah,
And
cool.
this is turning into like a Bruce Lee street fight behind the kitchens.
All right. Yeah, that's 2 dice. Yep. Got it. 6.
Oh yeah, it just showed up for me. I was like, "What?" Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, tell me what happened.
I think we probably see it from like and from their point of view, right? Maybe they keep like nondescript, so you can add what they're stuffed out with, what they look like. But we see this group like moving, and one of them has like a data pad, and he just shows it to the other guy and shakes his head or something. Is like, all right, we got him now, right? And we follow them, and they move in, and we see like the from behind the pillar, where like the wiring that was stuck into the wall is there, and they move around the pillar, and there's like the teacup with the tea in there, but there's no trace of the Steve.
And the whole time, are you communicating to Yeji to do whatever to like set them up or something?
Yeah, I haven't
While you're
really
hacking?
decided what I want to do with them yet.
Okay.
Because I also need to. I think the first thing here is I wanted to have a look at them while being kind of in a controlled position for whatever I might want to do next. But I'm surely like letting AG know we've got the coil here. They're gonna come around. There they are. That group of 4 people over there, and Yeji might be able to see how they move, like to the spot where I was previously at.
Right. And you guys know as well, PS, that they are tier 1, right? So you're on equal footing now. When you started fucking with them, they were above you, but no longer. And remember that their leader was gone. So basically the whole rest of the gang is like coming at you now, basically. And what they look like, I'm trying to find some pictures, but I'm picturing like some fairly, like they're definitely not combat people, right? Like they're a bunch of hackers, and they've probably got some like switchblades and some butterfly knives and stuff like that, right? But they're not they're not like well conditioned or like underground killers or anything like that. They're literally hackers. The last time we saw them, I think I posted this picture, right? They're all wearing the like hoodies with the stars on them. So yes, I would say they're not intimidating to Steve.
Yeah, and I think because Asha mentioned this in chat, that's probably exactly it. They come around the pillar, and the cord that I previously used is hooked up to like a super simple data pad, and it has this like countdown of like resolving address, and it ends up into 0xDADC011, right? Dead.
Right.
And here now, I have an idea what we might be going for, Yeji. I don't know if you want to come along with this. If you want to do something else, how about we do something here that once and for all dismays them from ever fucking with us again. Like we don't need to like kill them here or something like that. I want to like make them be like, oh yeah, okay, they let us live. We're never gonna touch those people again in any way or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Yeji's down for getting getting them off our backs and getting anything off of our backs. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they stand there, they see the data pad, and then there's like this coughing old woman approaching them or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. So Yeji, what is it that you do then?
This is the tricky part, because what can I do without,
Without killing them, you mean? You can just mess them up, right? Like you're the one that determines. Well, we both determine the stakes of the fight, but you saying like I want to hurt them enough to put them in the hospital, but not like kill them is a perfectly fine thing that you can shoot for in your action. Now remember, there is like 3 or 4 of them too, though. So
yeah, and what's my like? Because we're still in the Green Mile here, right? Or is this like off of the?
Yeah, we have to be subtle about any violence we do. So maybe just disarming them, or
it sounds like you're doing it in the yeah, it could even just be a disarm thing, but it sounds like you've lured them to the place where the guards aren't coming either, right? Like that alley, or
yeah, yeah.
I kind of like an idea where like kind of something intimidating, maybe something grandmotherly would also be nice. Like you boys, you're I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Like she walks up and like maybe like the coughing kind of like breaks, and then yeah, maybe she's just going to kind of like go in kind of grandmotherly and just be like, you have to be careful what you're going after around these parts. You might be biting off more than you can chew. And then, but yeah, like as she does that, I think like I
have a suggestion as well. You have all in the wrist, right? What if they all have these devices, these like custom gear things that they have and use for like hacking and stuff, and as you're saying like you've got to be careful and stuff, you've actually like are running a program that just fries all of their shit, right? And so like they're like you've got to be careful around here, but they have like their screens or whatever, and it's like error, skull, death, mess with the best, I like the rest, right?
yeah, I think I like that. I want to also like demonstrate some kind of like deadly precision to them, because I feel like that's a very like Yeji thing to do. Like she's along with like this sort of like hacking thing and like sees that as the way out of here, but she also wants to like show off that like she could kill them in an instant without them realizing. So like that's maybe kind of like the finishing thing of the whole thing, is that like their systems start like, that would be my goal, is their systems start like frying out and like maybe like buzzing and like showing up warnings and like expressing to their holders that they are dying, and then maybe like I just like yes, a couple of them maybe feel blades against their backs or something like that.
Sure. Or if Steve is in on it, they could even be like, it could even be like a kill thing where they like their stuff doesn't work or whatever, but suddenly they see just like the scope from Steve's gun like aiming at their heads or something like that, right, on their screens, and they're like, oh shit. Something like that too.
Oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah.
If the Steve wants to be in on the action.
Yeah. Like one way is definitely, I would definitely be wanting to assist you by basically supplying you through our comms with their hacker names, so you can actually address them individually. Like, right, it's like the one to your left is Edgelord 69, whatever, right? And so you can really dress them down. Yeah.
I also want to, I'm just heaping stuff on. I also want to express as I'm talking to them, I want to be pretending as if we didn't do anything to them. And just like, oh, like you have to be careful if you're mistaking people's identities. What did we ever do to you? That kind of thing.
Oh yeah. What did you ever do to them? Yeah. Everything.
Yeah, those names are much better.
So yeah, those are just the alias from the quick start ones,
Yeah.
if you want to use them actually when you're RPing the scene or whatever. But what action do you think this is then?
I mean, it feels like it's going to be a finesse, right? And that like I'm trying to like, it's essentially like, I mean, it's not directly like picking pockets, but like I'm trying to like manipulate these objects that are on them and that kind of thing as I'm going.
Mm-hmm. So okay, a finesse. But you're hacking them. But well, so the end mechanical result of this though is that you're getting them to just fuck off, right? Like they're never gonna mess with you again.
Yeah.
So it could even be a control, and the rest is flavor to me. But if you think the action is, so do you consider the finesse to be like the hacking and the intimidation and all of that into like one grand?
Yeah.
Like
I think like the way that like I think Yeji's coming into this like pretending she's just like a sweet old grandmother while she's like very like connivingly like manipulating these devices, like holding a threat to them, like that kind of thing, like sort of behind the veil or the cloak or whatever. But I mean, if you see it more as a control, I am willing to like push through that too.
I'm okay with finesse, I think. I think that abstracting it all into that would be fine. And then is the Steve doing a setup action or assisting or what's the Steve's
Yeah,
role?
that's the question here, if I'm assisting or...
I think you're already in a controlled position, for sure.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
definitely like, what?
So they're not going to strike out at this old woman, especially not on the Green Mile, right?
Yeah, especially not on the Green Mile. And so I think that you'd have as is controlled standard. But if you do a setup, you could always increase the effect on that.
I think like to like with long lasting effect to scare them off, we kind of need great, I feel.
Sure.
So I would but then yeah, I think then this was a setup action. And is it cool?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
It's not an additional die that you get from me, but then we're at controlled great.
Yeah.
And that will leave a lasting impression on them that they don't want to fuck with us.
Yeah, and then if you push yourself, you could even get extreme effect.
That would mean they become our lackeys?
I don't know. More like it's just like even when
they
they
could
get
potentially
leadership or something.
Yeah.
Even when they get new leadership, they'd be like,
yeah,
nah.
I mean, we could use a cohort, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that could be a thing.
Yeah,
could scare
that
them
might be too
into-
much for this one role, but
it could be a clock if you want to work on it.
Yeah, could be.
It depends. So, what do you think, Yeji? Do you want controlled great, or do you want to push yourself and get extreme effect with a start of a clock, or do you want to get an extra D from it, or?
Yeah, let's go for the extreme effect.
Okay, cool. So roll your finesse and no bonus die, but great effect.
Okay.
And stress because you pushed yourself, right?
Yeah. 2 stress. Okay, 4. So, and you're in a control position, so it's not too big of a deal. Reduced effect, suffer lesser harm, end up in a risky position. Oh yeah, I know what they do. So I think they're like all freaked out, right? You see like they see like dead quail, and then like this old woman's naming them, and all this kind of crazy stuff happens. And they are freaked out and stuff, right? But they also, when they're walking away, one of them stops and looks at you, and he's like, yeah, we're what does he say that's snide and shitty? I think he literally is just like some 17-year-old kid or something like that, and he's like, the Green Mile's gonna hear about this, and you know that they're gonna go like straight and run to the like the popo, right? Unless you want to resist those consequences.
Do you want to, or should I?
Yeah, it could be either.
Because if it could be when they turn around now, right? To like they say that to you, they immediately like bump into the Steve who's standing there, and you're gonna do what, right? And
yeah, you're like physically blocking that direction from them, so they have to run the other way anyway.
Yeah, so that they're like, yeah, no, there's like not one person here. There's at least 2 person of us here. We know what you look like, and all that said just through as a 17-year-old like says that to this grandma, right? And it's like way too self, and turns around and like bumps into the Steve standing there.
Okay, sure. So is the Steve resisting, but the AG wants to say something, it seems.
Yeah, I'll let you, like, after I resist, you can have your way with them. So what does this sound like? What am I resisting with?
Yeah.
Probably resolve, showing, like,
yeah, controlling them, right? Swaying, well, not really swaying, but more control. Yeah, I think so, eh? Sounds like a resolve. Unless you punch them in the face or something, then it's prowess.
No, this is all through presence and like showing them at every level we are one step ahead.
Right. 3 stress.
3 stress, yeah.
That's and then
fine.
So they turn around, they see the Stave, and I like the idea of one of them just like literally bumping off of the Steve's chest, right? And then like looking up and being like, oh shit.
Just raise an eyebrow.
Yeah.
Questioning me, you're gonna do what?
And then what does Yeji do?
So yeah, Yeji looks at that one and realizes she recognizes him, and says, we'll say his name is Mouse. She says, you know, Mouse, I knew your mother. And I may have known the woman who killed her. She's lost a step, but she's still around, and I know how to contact her. So I just wouldn't say anything.
Super freaking this guy out.
Yeah, I wonder if this is even more like another command or control or something. Or do you want any mechanical effect from it? Or
I don't really need any mechanical effect out of it. Like, I just wanted to, yeah. Taunt
okay. Well, yeah, I think that works. They just peace out right away, right? And then we'll cut back to Hicks up, and Cross has just open the like not allowed the door to close, right? What are each of you doing? He was like on his way out, but instead is like in the like doorway or whatever. It's probably just like a thin wall with a like this escape door thing basically, right? And it probably just leads into the back alley stuff so that you could get away. But the door's open and he's still right in front of you because y'all quick as fuck.
Yeah, and I think it's just like, no, we still have business, and like we need these things, and like we need to know about the guys in Nourish who need to get out, and you know that. And I like glance at the other two like bodies on the ground, and and then I look at Hicks, and I'm like, now you can help the both of us. And everything can be fine, and we can be good friends. That's what you wanted in the first place, wasn't it? To be friends?
So sounds like a control, maybe. Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's still risky because it could go one way or the other, but it's definitely not desperate anymore. Yeah. And it could still devolve into violence still, which would then be probably controlled. But Hicks, what are you doing? Are you helping? Do you appear beside Cross or behind or anything to lend a intimidation or anything?
I kind of want to hack this headset.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like so
Everyone's
that he
just
can
hacking.
only focus on us or something, right?
Mm-hmm. So like the like mirror things, you're gonna hack the glasses that he's wearing.
Yeah, like how he put up a mirror, right? Like this is like the
Oh,
opposite.
okay. So you're gonna use the security systems in here to drop like a mirror as well, or something, or
No,
what?
just for his headset, right? So he can just see us, like no matter where he looks.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So like what he sees is the feed from the camera looking at all of you or something like that?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. So would you say that you're hacking him?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Would that be an assist then, or
Yeah, that could be an intimidation thing for sure, right? Yeah, I don't think that we would need a roll for that. Unless you want to get more effect or position out of it, then it would be a roll. But if you're just assisting in that way, then I'm cool with that.
Okay, yeah. Assisting's good.
Okay, so plus 1d Cross. Freaking this boy out. What, Yoshi, are you trying to talk?
Yes, I was. I was saying it's risky standard, right?
Yeah, risky standard.
Cool. And then I'm also going to push myself for another bonus die from
Whoa. All of the bonuses.
all of the bonuses.
6. Of course, Cross gets a 6. It's like the Cross day.
Yeah, it's Cross's day.
Yeah. So tell me how he folds like plywood, like cheap damn plywood.
Yeah. So like I think he maybe sees it and like maybe just sort of like nods as I'm like, yeah, friends. And I'm like, that's good. And like as like maybe he's like trying to walk out, like he turns to walk out the door that like we came in. I'm like, because I've heard all the chatter that went over on like the comms from Yeji and the Steve. I'm like, no, we'll go out the door that you were planning on leaving out of. Like our compatriots have already taken care of everybody else out front. This is probably actually the safer way out.
Nice. And we think that is the closing shot of the episode. Yeah. Does anybody else wanted to have done anything?
I want to do something else that causes me too more stress.
Oh, like what?
Have a ridiculous flashback that sets something else up.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a flashback for what's behind there or something, right?
Yeah, ridiculous flashback. So outside of the alley, what would be something really useful that would be out there?
A way to extricate them from the Green Mile. So even if they're like raising a fuss or whatever, when you're walking through it, it would be
Yeah,
something to contain
Like
them.
some mechs. That would be cool.
Mechs. That would be pretty intense. I don't know if they'd allow mechs on the Green Mile, but you could have like a spinner prepared, or you could, I don't know, something that
Yeah, yeah.
stifles the kid or something.
Yeah, I imagine it. Actually, you know what? I think it's almost like a covered tuk-tuk, like, you know, those 3-wheeled things, but it's like completely automated. So like we can get into it and nobody can really see outside of it. So it's like it's got a cover onto it. And we walk out and it's just like looking at him and I'm like, we've already got a ride prepared for us. Like just step into the vehicle and we're gone and ready and we can sort out the details.
Yeah, and what makes it a little contrived is you probably didn't know about this back alley before.
Nope.
So yeah, we'll call it 2 stress then. Cool. Let's do XPs. Asher, do you want to start?
Sure. Going through the XP triggers. So, rolling desperate action. Yeah, XP in that attribute. So I did that. You addressed a challenge with deception or influence. I feel like we did that.
Yeah, I feel like you did
We
both probably, right?
Succeeded, yeah. And that gets me an advancement. So I'll mark that. And then, oh, I didn't finish this one. You expressed your, let's see. Where are the XP on the card? Okay. You express your beliefs, drives, culture, or background. Oh, that's the same. I think I express the drives, right? We're dealing with the split piece again, but with a new group. So that was interesting. And then struggled with issues from your vice roots or trauma during play. I don't think I did that so much.
Do you have a trauma?
No.
Okay.
But my vice was gardening, but I don't know that that's exactly applicable. But
you see all the grass and you're like, fuck, wish I was gardening.
I mean, I was getting seeds, right? Like that was kind of.
I don't know, so. But this is struggling with an issue.
Yeah, I wasn't struggling with that.
Yeah. So cool. Matthias?
Yep. So I didn't have any desperate actions. Address the challenge with technical skill or mayhem. I had 2, where I addressed it with technical skill. Or even more than 2, but that was the focus this time. You expressed your beliefs, drives, culture, or background. We saw him. So one of the things that we definitely saw this time is sorry, I just watched that again in the last couple of days. Always having your eyes on the horizon, never in the here and now. Thing with the Steve, right? Even on this mission, being oblivious to what's happening in the immediate surroundings and actually looking beyond, and with the coil in that manner, and also seeing, hey, yeah, well, they're also like a tier 1 group, right? But I'm like completely, no, like we're so out of the league. The chome. Like that overconfidence is also there. No issues from vice root or trauma, I think. Because this went very well, there could have been something that could have happened. But
yeah, I was trying to provoke a lot of rolls, but y'all getting those 6s, so.
So that's 4 in total.
Cool. Mike?
So I think I didn't have any desperate actions. Had a couple times where I addressed challenges with stealth or precision, and expressed beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think we got a lot of that, both in, number of points. When I said that I murdered that kid's mom, that's certainly background, as well as kind of that conversation with Cross up front. Like you got more of that sort of, like Yeji's like focus and all of this and that kind of thing. And then struggle with issues from my root, the forged, my disease. So I think I will take 1 there as well. So that's 5 total.
Yeah, Mike is gaming his disease for XP. I like it. Maybe I choke up some stuff again. Maybe. Next time I'm gonna be like, it's too hard now, Mike. You keep choking.
That's fair. That's fair. I'd take it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yoshi?
Yeah, I definitely addressed some things with violence and coercion, so I'm going to take 2 for that. I definitely think I also hit my backgrounds, like the heritage about the forge, talking with Yeji, and just like bringing in stuff like that, and talking about beliefs and things, and sort of like bringing that seed into the conversation of like what else other people could have. So I feel like that helped. So I'll take 2 for that. I did not struggle with my vice or trauma, but I did finally acquire one. I have not figured out what it will be, but I finally have one now.
Nice. You finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think too, for if anyone was struggling with getting the express beliefs, drives, culture, or background, part of why I got you to paint this scene was so that everybody would get some culture, right? Some XP in that. And so I think that's definitely worthy of it. And then who wants to do the crew one?
I mean, I can, but I've done it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But do you want to, Mike?
Since I've never done it before, let's do this. All right. Execute a successful accident, disappearance, murder, or ransom operation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a disappearance.
Yeah. So we take 1. That's going to force an advancement there. Contend with challenges above your current station.
Yeah, this person was above your current station. The coil may not have been, but also dealing with 2 things probably would have qualified either as well. Maybe 3 things even, because the guards are definitely above tier 1 as well. So
all right, I'll take it. Bolster our crew's reputation or develop a new one.
What are you?
Professional and deadly.
Oh.
I think we expressed that to the coil.
I mean, Cross expressed it to some people.
I actually think this is 2.
2, yeah. Let's do it.
Again, we're helping out and like doing something that isn't really that good of a job. It's something to help someone else out. So.
Yep. And then finally express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. We got at least 1 there. Do we get the second one?
Well, 1 for the very first scene, right?
Yeah.
Between you 2.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. The question is if there's anything else that like got to that. Doesn't necessarily feel fair to double up on the coil thing. But I don't know what you guys feel is more experienced blades people.
Maybe if what in the debrief, whatever, what do the others feel about us? Like is Cross happy with that news? Like, yeah, we saw an opportunity and took it to put the coil in their place, or was it an unnecessary risk? Like if it reflects all of our attitudes, then maybe it's a yes here that we get another XP for it.
Yeah, because it's the essential nature.
Yeah,
I'm okay with you taking out the coil. I'm taking the trauma, since I just traumatized out of obsessed, and I think that's going to be about like taking out those people who are above our station type thing, like taking out nourish and things like that.
Right.
Okay.
And maybe I think we were also like very focused on like not letting this get outside of the Green Mile or cause trouble. So like that stealthy kind of like angle, it kind of like plays out. Like we were very focused on making sure that no one knows what's going on here, even though we are executing it with deadly precision. So I don't know if that would fit into like that drives or the, what was it? Sorry. The essential nature of the crew. If we feel like we're stretching for it, then maybe we just don't mark it.
Yeah, so
It's up to you.
Yeah, I feel like that was the professional part, right?
Yeah, we get 2 from the reputation, 1 from express, 1 from content, and 1 from execute. Is that correct? So 5 altogether.
And that gives us advancement.
Yeah.
So what do you want?
What do we get to pick?
I think it makes sense to start looking at the crew upgrades, because I think we haven't actually taken clincher rigging yet. Elite runners might also be interesting, like that as a, or not elite runners, but a cohort of runners. Like, so we have actually some like underlings who like can do stuff for us. Like we don't need thugs; we're good enough at that. I feel, but going for that, or for yeah, or if we need some, or well, here's the thing, right? If we want to go up against Nourish, we need something to boost our tier in specific areas. So potentially, I have to look at the actual sheet. And blades, it's like the quality of either gear, implements, or tools, or something like that. So, right, because if we're going up against Nourish, we're going to compare our tier to theirs. So in specific situations, we want to have a bonus to that, so that the difference isn't that high. So getting quality stuff might be good.
Yeah, that might be, and that was kind of an impediment to us here too, right? Like in trying to get.
Yeah, that's why it escalated, right?
Yeah.
What's it called? I'm looking for the crew sheet.
I mean, I would think that we would probably want to try to figure out how we would want to deal with those things. So like tools sounds like it might be something, quality gear might be sound like if we're doing like a bunch of like subterfuge, like where we want specialized tech type thing, like that quality gear might make sense. I think in general, we're probably not going to be taking them out with weapons. Like that might not be the best choice for the quality improvement.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it factors in. Like Yeji is pretty close to being able to start an act of God. So I don't like if quality like would factor into that. Like we might, whatever thing we're using, whatever the term would be, maybe that's tools, to like initiate that might be good to have better quality on that.
Yeah, is initiating an act of God tools or weapons?
Or specialized tech.
Specialized tech.
Yeah, it would be specialized tech usually. Certainly, though, depending on what the fictional circumstances of starting an act of God is, you'll probably get more position or effect anyway, right? We'll figure out exactly what it would go into, but I would put it as specialized tech if you're quantifying it in terms of gear.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't we do that? Take specialized tech, because if we're taking upgrades, we get 2 for this advancement. And I really think we should put 1 into secure for our base. Right? We need some security at home, I think, before Fraser gets any ideas of like striking back at a certain point.
Marking it. That one for sure.
Yeah.
So do you want to do the specialized tech and the secure?
Yeah.
Sense. Cool.
Guys think you're so smart. Let's see how it is. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna stop broadcast.